My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I like to talk about scary stuff. Superhost is a new movie on Shudder about travel vloggers Teddy and Claire, who run a channel called Superhost, where they go to different Airbnbs and review their stays, until they go to Rebecca's place, where they find themselves up against more than they bargained for. If you have not gotten the chance to check out Superhost yet, well, don't worry, I'm gonna give you plenty of reasons to do so, and I'm gonna keep it short and sweet and spoiler free so I don't ruin the fun for you. But easily the biggest takeaway of this movie is that it is another win for writer-director Brandon Christensen, who has two other movies on Shudder, Stillborn and Z. I have not seen Stillborn, even though it's been on my list for like 2 years, but Z is like this creepy kid movie that I found to be quite effective, and it's very dark and moody, and Superhost is like almost a horror comedy. And so just between these two movies, I think he's showing great versatility, and I hope Shudder continues to acquire his work because it's clearly a good partnership. This movie could have gone all the way off a cliff because it is playing into a new trend that I think we'll see not just in horror films but across all genres, and that's film focusing on social media. There was another movie on Shudder earlier this year called Shook. It was about like an influencer being terrorized. I thought it was awful, didn't like it, and I'm also seeing, oh god, I guess I'm gonna have to bring up American Horror Stories. I guess I'll have to talk about that eventually. But specifically in that show, I felt like we constantly saw writing where our characters were just meant to be punished. Like, we just did not like these social media influencer characters, and we just wanted to punish them. And I felt like being stuck with Teddy and Claire for the majority of this film could have been grating. It could have been awful. But Christensen happens to conjure magic here because he creates characters who aren't necessarily likable, but at the same time we don't hate them. And it works perfectly for the way the film plays out. Now, my biggest problem with the entire movie was the fact that I did not buy Teddy and Claire as a couple at all. From the very beginning, I was like, there is no chemistry here. But I think that's intentional. I think these characters are supposed to be seen as a couple that is crumbling. And it works. It works enough for me, again, especially for where this movie goes. Now, I will say one of the bigger missed opportunities, in my opinion, is that we see, as things unfold, one of the two is a little more interested than the other and maybe faking some things, maybe lying a little bit in order to boost their subscriber count. And I kind of wish they played into that a little bit more, but at the same time, like, there's enough there that works for me. And that's one thing that I have to say I really enjoyed about Superhost. Any of the complaints that I have, any problems that I do have with it, I'm also kind of like, well, but it was kind of good enough, for what it was doing. It works. Easily the best part of the movie, though, is Gracie Gillum as our Superhost, Rebecca. And I cannot say a whole lot about Rebecca as much as I would like to, other than she totally won me over. I loved Rebecca. I thought Gracie Gillum was so perfect in this role. Her line delivery, her facial expressions, everything for the first hour of this movie, you're like, is this even a real person? Is she a fucking alien? Like, what is this? And then that final act, I'm gonna tell you, stick with it. If you're feeling bored, if you're feeling like it's not really going there, trust me, it goes there. I have to say, there is something oddly satisfying to me about just seeing a woman on a rampage, and without really getting into it, just she is so good, and it's so good to see a female villain that is taken very seriously, too. There is never a time when it's like, oh, we can take Rebecca, no big deal. It's like, no, that bitch is crazy. Superhost has been compared to Creep a lot, which makes perfect sense. There are lots of Creep vibes. If you liked Creep 1 and 2, I would definitely recommend Superhost. You're gonna get more of that here. But if you didn't like the Creep movies, then you're probably not at all going to like Superhost. But I happen to have a good time with it. It was better than I expected, and I thought it was really well done. Normally, this is the type of movie that I would say that could have been a short, but the way that it played out, it kept me on board. I felt like there were enough developments. Again, the characters weren't likable, but there was enough going on there to stick with them to see what was going on, and then Rebecca just sort of drives it all home. And it's no masterpiece, but if you're looking for something to watch on Shudder, this is what I have to say I really enjoy about Shudder movies over the last year or two, really. Before that, I've been a Shudder subscriber for a while. I'm an OG, and I just feel like they've put out, not garbage, but I feel like they just kind of grabbed what movies they could and they're like, here you go. But they've really stepped it up recently, and I feel like especially this year, a lot of the originals and exclusives that they've acquired, things that they've put out, much better movies of the week than you're getting on Netflix, okay? I'll say that much. For the concept, I'm gonna give Superhost a 3 out of 5 because, yeah, it's a little dumb. Like, it's a little like, okay, we're trying to be of the moment. But again, I think there are enough developments here to make it work. As for the execution, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because Christensen manages to capture this really balanced but wacky tone throughout the movie where you're just like, it's that socially awkward cringe horror, which really will not work for some, but in this case totally worked for me. I have to say that alone just, it made the movie. As for the entertainment value, I will give it a 2.5 out of 5 because, yeah, it wasn't really knocking my socks off until the end, but once we get to the end, it's a ride. As for my personal grade, I'm going to give Superhost a 3 out of 5. Again, it's not necessarily barrier breaking, but if you're looking to throw your feet up and watch something kind of fun, silly, and scary, check out Superhost. What did you guys think of Superhost? Have you watched it already? Have you not? Have I convinced you to watch it? Have I not? Let me know. I would love to talk about this one, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you made it to the end. Double thank you to you. You guys are the best. If you aren't already, follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd, and I should quickly throw it out there. If you have not already, watch Malignant. Watch it. Watch Malignant. I have to do a spoiler review. It should be coming in the next few days, but watch it now so that way we can fully get into that movie because it's, oh my god, we have so much to talk about it. Thank you guys once again. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.